Okay, so this is going to be the most interesting and amusing video you've seen all day today, and probably the most interesting podcast you've ever seen, because I've been posting every single day on YouTube for the last month, and I wanted to do a podcast, but I have no one to interview me, so I have ChatGPT right here pre-programmed with the questions I wanted to ask me on voice mode, and it's going to ask me them, it's going to interview me. And if you have the attention span to sit down and learn what's working, how I scale my coaching business to 76K a month at 16 years old, and how you can scale yours too, then stick around. Let's get into it.
How are you closing 76K per month just from Instagram?
So my whole methodology is broken down into a few key stages. We of course have the funnel, which is the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel. And within that, our top of funnel is pretty unique because we don't run ads to a landing page. We don't run ads to a VSL. We don't run ads to even DM for most of the cases. We run a completely different format of ads, which is what we call CRA ads, cognitive response ads, where these ads are targeted at getting Instagram followers. And the reason why we're massive on Instagram followers is because not only are they extremely cheap, it's a low cost, it's a low commitment, it doesn't cost anyone a lot to follow you. That also means that, people are less skeptical because they don't think you're trying to sell them anything. It's a value upfront approach, which makes people feel the need to reciprocate. But not only that, it's extremely long term because these people can be sitting in our ecosystem, our Instagram ecosystem, which is like the reels, the stories, the results, the information, and all those other things, even the YouTube, for an extended period of time, getting nurtured, getting warmed up, and really setting the stage for that conversion. The second stage of this is, of course, that Instagram ecosystem I spoke about, which is for nurturing, okay? It's where people are seeing the reels, the stories, the results, the information, all these things, which if you do consistently will warm these leads up. So whether it's a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, even 6 months from now, eventually people are going to start reaching out to you, wanting to work with you. When you get to a stage where I'm at, we get inbound DMs of people literally wanting to work with us every single day. And the leads are high intent because they've been getting nurtured by you, right? So I have people messaging me with a Google Doc of exactly how much they're making, where they're at, what they need help with, and what their budget is. That's what happens when you build an Instagram ecosystem. Now, of course, we want to also prioritize short-term cash, which is why we have an appointment setup who is basically leveraging one-to-one human connection. And the reason why we really want to leverage this one-to-one human connection is because trust is at an all-time low in this day and age because of things like fake webinars, because of things like marketing gurus with AI and all these different things. Trust is at such an all-time low that in order to really win, you need something that's optimized for trust. And one-to-one human connection is literally the epitome of trust. Now, of course, you yourself can't sit in your DMs all day messaging people. So we have AI in some cases. So we actually have our own AI tool. You can interview me about that later. But we have AI and also humans leveraging you. So leveraging your brand, leveraging your face, and leveraging that one-to-one human connection you can provide to your audience. So those are the stages of the process of how, I'm doing 76K a month at 16.
That's such a solid breakdown. It really shows how strategic and relationship focused your approach is. All right, let's keep it rolling. What do you find is working right now in ads specifically for coaches?
Good question. Okay, so there are two things that are working really well for ads for coaches right now, and I'm gonna call them. So the first one is obviously a CRA ad, which is a video ad to get follows, and then the other type of ad that's working really well, we've only recently started testing this, is a story ad, where the objective is to get DMs. And the reason why these story ads have been working especially well lately, getting like $2 to $3 per DM for some of my clients, is because they look like Instagram stories basically. So the whole idea is that humans can detect an ad nowadays because we're all on social media and ads are always boring. They look like ads. You know what I'm talking about. If you scroll even a day on social media, you can see an ad from a mile away and you're out of there. So the whole approach with honestly every ad we're running is making them not look like ads. And if you're in this info space, you know what an Instagram story looks like in this space. You have like the lifestyle pictures, you have the text, you have the social proof. And so with the story ads, we make them look exactly like ads where the entire formula is literally, it's like the story, lifestyle clip. Let's say there's just like, like a nice house here. I don't know why I'm drawing it on my whiteboard for you, but let's say we have a nice house and then you just have text. So you have text, you have like a result, and then you have a CTA at the bottom. Now, typically, once again, the CTA for this is either DM or follow. Now, we've had DM work better just because it's more of a natural thing to do after seeing a story, because you don't really follow people after seeing a story, so it kind of exposes that it is an ad, basically. But then the CRA ad is the other ad that works really well. It's a video ad where every single sentence is taken in a different location to build the retention, and it follows like a kind of like a different version I made of the PASO copywriting framework. So PASO. This stands for problem, agitation, solution, outcome. And so with this, it basically means you have to call out their problem, then you have to agitate it by making it seem permanent and trapping. Then you want to call out the solution, which has like the benefits. And then after you talk about the solution, after you talk about the benefits, you want to then talk about the desired outcome, which is what people actually want. So that's kind of what's been working really well for us lately. And then just throwing a mid-roll call to action right around here. And then having social proof right after that, and then a final call to action.
That's awesome. It sounds like those strategies are really making ads feel more authentic and engaging, which definitely helps in the coaching space. All right, let's dive into the next question. When it comes to coaches who are feeling stuck at that 10K per month mark, how do you usually help them get unstuck?
So when you're stuck at 10K a month, it's usually an issue of acquisition, right? You're not over delivering for anybody. And so when it comes to acquisition, you want to really look at how you're doing your acquisition, because most people are doing outreach to get to 10K a month. They're either doing outreach, referrals, or purely organic. And the thing with all of those three things is it lacks consistency. Consistency is the most important thing to have to scale and break past 10K a month. And so you need to introduce something that's consistent, predictable, and reliable. And that is paid advertisements, using like what I really suggest here, because this has been working really well for us. But paid advertisements is extremely important to do. And then the only other thing that a lot of people at 10K a month have is like a mindset issue. They're in the wrong frame of mind. They're still operating like a hustler. And I know everyone says like you need to stop being a hustler and start being a boss, but it is true. Like most people at 10K a month do have a really bad mindset. And the biggest thing I can say to fix that mindset is to remember what got you to 10K a month. And usually you can just double down on it, right? Let's say you're doing outreach. You can usually just double down on outreach. I know I just suggested doing ads, but a lot of the time you forget what got you to where you are. That's why with me, I made my first 10K a month at 15. Then I made like, 2K the next month, 10K again, 2K again. And same thing happened when I hit my first 50K month in February this year. Hit 50K and then it dipped down again. And the reason why is because I had to learn this the hard way, and you probably will have to like learn it the hard way as well. You're not really gonna, I guess, like it's super easy to forget what got you to a certain place. And so I'll give you a personal story, right? When I hit my first 10K a month, I then had all these clients, and I decided it would be a good idea to stop outreaching, which got me to 10K a month, and start just delivering only for these clients. And so naturally it dropped. So that's what you need to avoid.
That's such a valuable insight and a great reminder that consistency and sticking to what works is crucial. All right, let's shift gears a bit. Can you walk us through your microwave method and how it works?
Yeah, so the microwave method is something I haven't spoken about yet. It's what one of our clients actually named. And the reason why they call it the microwave method is because what does a microwave do? A microwave rapidly heats up food. So it heats up food in a really short period of time. And so we found a way to rapidly heat up leads, to rapidly heat up followers in a short period of time to set the stage for them buying. And the way we do that is by sending leads from Instagram to YouTube. And YouTube doesn't have to be viral. It has to be videos where they're spending a prolonged period of time with you, getting nurtured, getting to know you, your philosophy, your messaging, and then also a bit of value. It's exactly what anyone who's watching right now is doing. Maybe there's 20 people, but that's 20 people who have spent, I don't know how long this is, probably 10 minutes by now, have spent 10 minutes with me talking and learning all these valuable things and just getting to know me and seeing, for example, the creativity with the AI podcasts. So the microwave method is not about going viral on YouTube, but it's about really showing your messaging. Because if you think about this podcast, it's a messaging masterclass in itself. Study how I'm speaking. Am I really providing you value right now? Like, I'm going to be honest. Am I really providing you value? Because I haven't told you how to make a story ad. I haven't told you, the copywriting to use. I haven't told you the form, like the actual structure. I barely told you. I'm basically telling you what to do. And what is the philosophy? And the philosophy is what people buy, because no one, if I tell you how to do something, is going to do it. That's why we have clients who literally come to us who've already ran CRA ads, like it's in their ads manager, but they still come to us to work with us because implementation instead of the how just doesn't work. It doesn't work nowadays. And so you need to be giving people really the philosophy, the messaging about your unique mechanisms, right? What am I doing? I'm talking about the Instagram ecosystems, the microwave method, all these different things. And that's what's nurturing you. So that's the biggest thing, to be honest. It's having that mechanism and then just selling people on it. Selling people on the unique selling points, the USPs of your unique mechanism.
That's such a powerful perspective, and it makes total sense that people are drawn to the philosophy and the unique approach rather than just the step-by-step. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty a bit. What does your daily add to call pipeline look like right now?
So basically we have like the ad. So the ad gets us a follower. I'm not even going to write because the whiteboard's messed up. But basically the ad gets us a follower, and then upon the lead following, the setter instantly reaches out to them. And so within like 12 hours, they're already being messaged by the appointment setter. From there, usually they reply within 24 hours. We have a 50% reply rate because our appointment setting process is dialed in. We also follow back every single person who follows us. That means that the messages are instantly bumped to the very top of the inbox, because if you and someone follow each other back, it basically skips the request inbox and goes in the primary. So we have a 50% reply rate. It's basically just as good as sending an inbound DM to someone or having someone send an inbound DM to you, because you literally appear right in the top of their primary inbox. And the good part about that is if we're paying $1 per follower, which is like my client average, you're paying $1 per follower and like 50% reply, then you have $2 per DM. So it's literally like an OP version of DM ads. So that's our process. Then the appointment setter talks to them. Usually we have like people book in a call from follower in 3 days. And it's pretty cool to just look at people who followed you back in your notifications who are now paying clients in like Discord, in Notion. Like, it's a cool feeling.
That sounds like such an efficient and streamlined process. And it's really cool to see how quickly you're able to turn followers into clients. All right, let's dive a little deeper. What are your exact ROAS metrics looking like right now?
The AI is just fantastic, isn't it? So right now we have a few different metrics. I haven't checked over the past probably 4 days, which isn't good because we're running them from my business partner's account right now. But our best ROAS to date, I think it was like 32x over like, a few $1,000s in spend, probably $5,000 in spend. And it was on our retargeting ads. So this is a fun fact. And I guarantee if you've been following my business partner on Instagram, you've seen this. You have seen this because it absolutely cooked. So we ran an ABO ad campaign where literally, so I'm going to rub this out while I say it so I can draw this down. But basically, we ran an ad campaign where the audience of it was retargeting. So it was people who'd visited our profile and engaged over the last 180 days. And we then had an ad set where there was literally 10 testimonial ads all talking about us. So we had literally an ad set with 10 different testimonial ads all in here. And what this did was, if you're a person scrolling, you're going to start seeing these. We had a frequency at our max of 8. So the average person saw not 1, not 2, because this was the ad set that had the frequency, but like 10 different testimonials of us 8 times. So every day you're seeing all these different people who saying good things about us. And so that builds the perception that we are the best in the game, that we have the best results. And that's where the momentum really picked up. That's where we started having those high intent inbound DMs. But this was such a fun story because this ran at like over 30x ROAS. And it was literally just a simple ABO retargeting ad campaign with just a ton of different ads. And we let Meta do all like the micro adjustments, because what happens is if you just dump a bunch of creatives into an ad set, Meta will actually just make the optimizations for you. So it'll look at what ads perform the best, what ads have the best retention, what ads make people click, and it'll basically delegate more of the ad spend into the specific ones that win. And that's exactly what wound up happening with us.
That's such an amazing strategy, and it makes total sense why it performed so well. It's like a masterclass in building social proof and trust through those retargeting ads. All right, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about your week. What does your typical week look like at 76K per month? How do you structure your time, your team, and the tools you use?
So my weeks are pretty simple and pretty hectic, to be honest. So I've kind of been like jumping between different daily routines. So I've been doing stuff like, like a regimented schedule where it's like 6 a.m. wake up, do this from this to this time, and this to this time, and this to this time. But it's really annoying because I live in Sydney, so I'm in like probably one of the worst time zones in the world to do business in, especially because like 90% of my clients live in America and the rest are like in Europe. We have like only a few Australian clients because we don't advertise here. But basically, right now what I'm doing is I'm waking up at around 8, 9 a.m. I'm going to bed at like 2 or 3. And first thing I do is open WhatsApp, open Discord, open Slack, reply to all my clients. We have, like 80 client channels right now. So it's very like hectic to get back to everyone. And whilst I do that, I'm starting to build my to-do list for the day. So I just have a notepad up, start like adding my items in the to-do list. And I like to kind of structure it in an order and then I just get after it. But actually today I kind of devised a new structure of routine because I'm always changing things up to see what works best. And I'm going to try this out tomorrow. I'll let everyone know how it goes. But basically the first thing is check WhatsApp. So I'll just say WhatsApp, like Slack, etc. Then the second thing is it's basically doing like YouTube. So it's going through YouTube. And then the third thing is gym. So I really like to go to the gym early in the morning, but I also like to get something done early in the morning. So getting my YouTube done and then my like communications done early in the morning, hitting the gym, and then after the gym, literally just deep working from, like whatever this winds up being, like let's just say like 1 p.m. all the way to like 1 a.m. basically, and just getting the deep work in. That's what I'm going to start trying out. But my weeks are pretty hectic, not going to lie. Like a lot of calls, a lot of deep work, a lot of ad scripts. It's still trench work. Right now we're bringing on some new employees. So that's going to be interesting as I start to shift out of like doing a lot of things myself to having the team do them.
That definitely sounds like a packed schedule, but it's awesome to see how you are always optimizing your routine and finding what works best for you. It's also exciting that you're bringing on more team members to help you scale even further. All right, let's dive into something a bit more personal. You're only 16, so what made you believe that hitting these kind of numbers was even possible at your age?
So, good question. I honestly never thought that I would get to where I am right now. So my goal going back about 2 years was to be making 10K a month at 18 years old, and then I would leave school, like, because I'd graduate school and everything, and I would, start to, like, lock in at home because I wouldn't be at school. And that's funny because, I hit my first 10K a month at 15, and now I'm at 76K a month at 16, and I dropped out of school. And it was a crazy realization the other day because I found my old vision board, and I had, like, not even out of ego, but I had genuinely ticked off everything in my old vision board. So I had to make myself a new one because, the motivation started to really leave me. And funny story. So my dad, he would tell me, stay in school, just wait until after school. And I always, and like, he was like, you can do the business, fine, but stay in school. And I was always pushing it because I don't know, I'm just a very impatient person. I like to get things done quickly. And so all of a sudden I hit 10K a month in school. I started sleeping like 6 hours a night, just working all day, every day, working in class. Then I hit 50K a month after we kind of agreed that I would slow down because I didn't slow down because I can't, just can't do it to be honest. And then from there, I hit my first 50K a month in February, decided, you know what, I'm going to drop out of school. And it was a good decision. It was pretty nerve-wracking back when I did it, but it was 100% worth it. Fast forward to now, like I'm literally so happy I did it. When I look at my Stripe, it's just crazy because I'm making more than doctors. Like I'm making more than multiple doctors right now in this country, which is one of the most expensive countries on the planet. and I'm 16, which is not even out of ego. It's just like, I can't believe it, to be honest. Because, back where I started and back where I thought I would be, it's just unbelievable.
That's an incredible journey, and it's so inspiring to see how you've surpassed your own expectations and really taking control of your path. It's definitely a testament to your drive and vision. All right, let's talk mindset for a second. What kind of mindset shift helped you break that 10K plateau and keep scaling up?
I think it was one of the main things was what I was thinking about, or what I was talking to you about earlier on this podcast, which was like the time versus action gap. So while I explain it, I'm actually going to rub off my whiteboard again, and I'm going to kind of break down a diagram of that gap because it's really important. But basically, people forget what got them any result. And that's really bad, because if you forget what got you a result, then you're basically going to be in this loop of highs and lows. And I genuinely used to think business was just going to be highs and lows. I always thought, this is going to be how it is, like business is going to suck. But over the past couple months, I've started to really, document things internally in our business, and came to the realization that it's not just ups and downs. Like, you can be on an uptrend for a really long period of time and not just have these spikes. And so basically the chart is as following. It is memory. So I'll just call it mem, and then results, I'll call this a res, and then this is time. And so the idea is basically your memory is here, and then over time down here, and then results are here. And so what happens is, as time progresses, your memory decreases. So you start to remember less and less. And as time continues going on, you start to get results. But you've kind of forgotten this. So what happens is basically, let's say that you get to here. Let's say this here is 10K per month, right? So this here is 10K a month. And what that means is that you still have this very low amount of memory. And so it's likely that you're just going to default, that you're going to come back down and you're just going to be in this kind of loop right here. But in order to get all the way up to, let's just call this 1 million a month, then you need to have the top memory. So the whole game of scaling is to remember what got you to the result. So when you're here, you need to remember what it was that got you there. When you're here, you need to remember what it was that got you there. When you're here, you need to remember what it was that got you there, and so on and so forth.
That's such a powerful way to look at it, and it really highlights how important it is to stay consistent and keep track of what works. All right, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about something a bit more philosophical. What does detachment from money really look like for you? And how does that mindset help you in your business?
Detachment's an interesting one, because I always say, like, when you start to, let's say, close your first few clients, everyone knows this, you start to not care about the money anymore. Like, you used to get excited when you closed a client, and now you don't feel anything. And unless you like 10x your prices, which I've done before, like, the feeling will always go. But what happened to me, and this is kind of a side note, but this is a really cool feeling, is whilst you don't feel anything from closing any clients, what you do feel is you start to not care about money at all. Like, you start to view money that, amounts of money that people would, go crazy at, like 10K, as like insignificant. Like, I'll be spending that like in a week on a ski trip, which isn't even a lot, by the way. Like, that's not like a flex or anything. But it's like, when I tell my family that, they're like, that's insane. Why would you spend $10,000? Like, it's $10,000. But as you start to make more money, you start to just get detached from it. And that's really important when it comes to making decisions like hiring, because you can't be attached when hiring. Like, hiring is one of the things where long term it'll make you a lot of money. Short term, it's a problem. Same with ad spend. Like, there's so many benefits from being detached from money, where you can just look at your business and you can just be like, you know what, stuff it. I'm going to spend 50 grand this month on the business, and like, just go all in. And the way to do that is to stack cash. So you need to stack cash. When you have, from my experience, when you have 6 figures liquid in a bank account saved up, you start to be detached. Like, you start to not care. And so what I personally did was I put, like, when I hit the 6-figure liquid mark, I had it all in a personal account, and then I made the business account, and now they're kind of separate. So it's like the business account's always going up and down, and it's always kind of fluctuating, but the personal account stays the same. And so I know I'm chilling. And while I say that, I can risk even more, because I live at home with my parents. My parents cook me food. Like, if I was like a normal kid my age, I would probably have no money anyway. So it's not really a big deal to genuinely dump like everything I have back into the business to scale it.
That's such a great perspective, and it's clear how that detachment really gives you the freedom to make bold decisions and keep reinvesting in your growth. All right, let's shift gears again and talk about some of the challenges. What's been the hardest lesson you've learned so far in your business journey?
This is one of the questions where, you know, damn, like I don't even know. What's been the hardest lesson I've learned in my business journey? There's been so many lessons. I don't know if there's something that's been the hardest lesson, like, that comes to mind. Okay, one hard lesson I had to learn recently is that commitment is extremely important when it comes to partnerships, because out of pity, I took on a revenue share partner who didn't pay any money up front. I was just like, you know what? He's a hard worker, good guy. I'll take him on. And no hate to him either, because he's a cool guy. Like, I like him. But it's just how humans are, that when there's no emotional commitment, they're not going to commit. And so with this, he wasn't really committed. Like, things were slow, wasn't really spending on ads. And so that went badly because there was no commitment there. So what is good about charging high ticket is that there's always commitment. So what we noticed is our client results started to get better when we took our ticket price and increased it and literally doubled our ticket price. Because from a marketing perspective, higher prices mean an increase in perceived value. Because let's say this, right? Let's say the entire market is charging 10K, right? And so everyone's aware that there's just 10K products everywhere. And then you start charging 25K. Like, everyone's going to be like, what does this guy have? What does this guy have to justify charging 25K while everyone else charges 10K? On a psychological level, because in order to charge 25K, the perceived value is higher because you must have something that the other offers don't. And so what I see a lot of people do is they think cheap is the key. They think, yeah, if I have a cheap price, people will be more likely to sign on, and it's just BS. If you have a higher price, people are more likely to sign on. And if you have a higher price and then you drop the price, then what happens is there's an anchor. So an anchor effect starts to happen. And so the value is still high, the perceived value is still high, but they're getting it at a discount. So instead of charging 15K, charge 25K and drop it down to 15 if you really need to. And so then the perceived value stays here, but the price comes down, and so it's a complete no-brainer.
That's such a valuable insight, and it really shows how pricing can influence perception and commitment. It's great advice for anyone looking to elevate their offers and really attract that higher level clientele. All right, one last question to wrap things up on a forward-looking note. Where do you see your business heading in the next 12 months, and what are you excited about for the future?
This is just like insane, guys. Honestly, like, this is crazy doing a podcast with AI. So where I see my business, I think you said in 6 months, I was kind of blown away, is I'm going to be at like 150K a month. The goal is 100K a month, so 100K per month before I turn 17. So that is basically in 1.5 months. So that's where I'm going to be before 17. In 6 months, that'll basically be the end of this year. You'll see me anywhere between 150 to 250, depending on how things go with our rev share clients. Because we're looking to bring on end of year like 50K a month per partner, and that's doable. So it really depends on how things go on that front, as well as like how service delivery goes, and what breaks. Because I'm not going to start selling people if service delivery is broken, So if service delivery breaks at 150K a month, then have to close my doors for a bit and fix that, and then kind of continue scaling, And then for future, sorry to interrupt again because I remember you said future. Like, I don't see a ceiling because I love the game. I'm doing a podcast with AI at 12 a.m. on a random Saturday. Like, and I know people are always talking about, this time on a random, but I just love the game. Like, I will literally not stop even if I become the richest man alive, because it's just a game and it's just fun to win. Like, winning is the best possible thing in my opinion. And so through my life, I genuinely think I will become a billionaire, whether it's in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I have a whole life to wait. If 50 years go by then I'll be like 66 and a billionaire. Like, cool. Like, that's not even that old. Like, realistically, like, as long as you stay in good shape. So that's where I see the long term going.
That's an amazing vision, and it's so clear that you're driven by the process and the love of the game itself. It's going to be exciting to watch you continue to scale and achieve those big goals. Well, this has been such a fun conversation and a really unique podcast episode. Thanks for bringing me on as your AI co-host.
Thank you very much. See everyone in the next one. Subscribe. I make daily videos like these breaking down how I scale my coaching business to 76K per month at 16 years old. So if you want to see daily videos breaking down the strategy or more videos like this, subscribe, and also let me know in the comments, because this was a random idea. I saw Scott Hilsey do something like this and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try. See you in the next one. Peace.